Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that it's a brainstorm.
Yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one. Welcome to Brainstorm. Today's topic is higher education in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is a sobering thought that we're going to discuss together around this theme, very important. How do you understand the concept higher education? Who is qualified for higher education in the Democratic Republic of Congo? What are some reforms undertaken so far in the Democratic Republic of Congo as far as higher education is concerned? I'm honored on this platform to discuss this topic together with a man who is a guest his first time to come here. His name is Ignace Mafutala Lambalamba. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
My pleasure is to welcome you on this stage.
Great. The pleasure is also mine. I'm very happy to be your guest today.
Ignace Mafutala is a former student, a leader of UPN, Université Pédagogique Nationale, graduate in English at UPN, and also a member of the Prime Minister staff. I got it right?
Right.
Yes, my pleasure again is to be together with you on this platform. And I hope you are in good shape just to discuss this topic, well prepared.
Yeah.
Higher education in the DRC, or Democratic Republic of Congo. According to Congolese education system, what is higher education?
Well, higher education in DRC is just a step of studies that comes after high school education. So you have first to graduate from high school before you could undertake higher education in DRC. It is education which is landed into, I can say, the great domains. You have universities on one side and you have colleges on the other side. Higher education in DRC is managed by three structures, what we call conseil d'administration, because they are also classified in three higher education in DRC. The first is what you call technological, technical, artistic higher education, what you call ESTA. It is led by the conseil d'administration, the so-called conseil d'administration des instituts supérieurs techniques, artistiques et technologiques. That is the one branch. The other branch is higher education, which are pedagogical and also technical. And these are also managed by what you call conseil d'administration des ISP. In that group, you have all higher education which are vocational for pedagogical and technical.
Okay, that's really great. I understand that from the concept, higher education in the Democratic Republic of Congo embraces many sectors, right? We'd like you, ladies and gentlemen, to watch this video on the definition of higher education, maybe not in Congolese context, but globally speaking. What is higher education? Please watch and be back.
What is higher education? Any qualification you study at level 4 or above is what we call higher education. But there's not just one way to study, there's actually loads of different ways, with lots of different subjects to choose from. There are broad subjects, allowing you to develop skills and knowledge that could be applied to a variety of different roles and sectors. And there are very specific subjects, designed to prepare you for a particular career or vocation. But it's not all about the qualifications. There's loads of reasons to study higher education. From learning new skills, to meeting new people. From gaining valuable experience, to becoming an expert in a subject you love. Higher education really does offer something for everyone. You might study at home, or even move away. You might even get to study abroad. It'll be challenging, but most importantly, it'll be exciting. And with so many options available, you can choose a course that's perfect for you and best suits your own learning style. Higher education will give you all the tools you need for an exciting and successful future, whatever you choose to do. For more information about higher education, visit www.futureme.ac.uk.
So now let's take another question, because we talked about higher education. I think
Would you mind allowing that I finish? Because I spoke of the two branches. And the last one is what you call Conseil d'administration des universités. And there in that format, we have only those who are called universities. Universities like UNIKIN, UNIKIS, UPenn, UNILU, and so on. These are led by the Conseil d'administration des universités. So have those three conseils d'administration which are trying to framework the higher education in DRC.
Okay, thank you. Is there any difference or similarity between Congolese higher education and the global education system?
Yeah. In general, higher education, or education in general, it depends also on the country's progress. The more a country is developed, the more also you can see the higher education system develop. So we are an underdeveloped country. So our education system is also trying to go along with the way our country is developed. That is, I can say, in terms of the means, in terms of the engagement of the government in the education. But in terms of missions, in terms of the organization, in terms of administration, they are equal. Because the missions of all the universities worldwide is the same.
Okay, ever since we talk about higher education in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or education system, we like to know some reforms undertaken so far as higher education is concerned.
That's good, because not far, that's last year, the ministry in charge of higher education took a very good step, and I should say thumb up to him, because Mr. His name again, the Ministry of ESU, Muindo, Mr. His Excellency Muindo, he gathered professors in Lubumbashi to think about what you call LMD system, bachelor, masters, and doctorate. So he gathered professors so that they could think about that new system that is already being implemented in DRC, and that is one of the reforms, and it's a great reform. But the reforms stay back from many years ago, because before the independence, we had another way of delivering teachings in our country. After the independence, we had also another way, especially during the reign of the late President Mobutu. We had the great reform of Nsele, and that reform or it's derived from that reform that we had only one university. And that one university, the only university, was called UNAZA, Université Nationale Zaïroise. All students in our country had to belong in that university, and it was the only one. That we can say it was not different from his own party, which is a dictatorial party of MPR. He wanted also to have only one university, and it became difficult because you had to travel to go either in Lubumbashi for Inilu, either in Kisangani for Unikis, either in Kinshasa for Uniken. And you should not be in a university if you are not in that university. Okay. But after some years, the system showed to be very weak. And again, the reform took place, and the three main universities in our country became autonomous. So you have Unikin, which became autonomous. It was no longer led by one rector, one chancellor. It had its own chancellor. Unikis had its own chancellor. Unilu had also its own chancellor.
Okay. So when we talk about LMD, is that really effective nowadays?
DRC. LMD is really effective in DRC because I have a daughter who is in the first grade in LMD system. But what is sad with that system is that you cannot put the cart before the horse. You cannot put the cart before the horse. Why? To have a new program, it means you have that program already planified. You have all necessary equipment. You have all necessary means so that you can undertake a new system. You know that everything is already on place. But that is not the case with our LMD system in DRC.
The reality on the ground now.
Because LMD system, I'm talking LMD, I put it as it is taken in our country. LMD, it means licence, master, doctorate. So bachelor, masters and doctorate, it is a new system of teaching. It is a new system of organization. It's a new system of doing things. Even in terms of equipment, with LMD, it means that students, you cannot only learn in university. You should have, for example, online classes. Someone can enroll even all over the world. You can enroll in that system in any university. That is not the case here. We have a problem with internet. We have a problem with electricity. We have a problem with equipment, computers. It means that when you are in an LMD system, it means that you are in a modernized system. Okay. And every student should have at least his own computer.
I can understand there are a lot of things to do, right, so far. But
a lot.
Every year, high school graduates have flocked to the university. So we want to know, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC, who is qualified for higher education?
It's simple. I can take it in two contexts. Who is qualified? The first thing it means who can enter in higher education. It's simple. Someone who graduated from high school is intended to start his higher education if he likes. The second hand, what I can take is the second leg is who is qualified. So after having studied in the highest education system, the one who is qualified is the one who has got a degree from the higher education system.
Okay, that's okay. But now, what is the purpose of higher education in the Democratic Republic of Congo? The purpose is only just to help students learn science and technology. Is there any other purpose of higher education in the Democratic Republic of Congo?
Higher education's purpose for students in DRC is not to deliver materials. It's not just to deliver education or academic studies, but the purpose is to make students to be competitive, because a student is someone who should be, I can say, worldwide able to defend his capacities.
Okay.
So when you are trained in an university, it means that even if you travel, you go to France, you travel, you go to Japan, and so on, in your domain, you should be the master of your domain. So higher education in our DRC is to also, one of the purposes is to help students to be competitive. Competitive in terms of intelligence, different intelligences, in terms of qualification when the job opportunity occurs in the domain, in your domain, the domain of training. So you should be able to compete.
Okay. Many people sometimes when we talk about higher education, they see universities or sometimes called a college. This video helps you understand a little difference between universities and college. Please watch and we'll be back.
In the United States, the terms college and university are used interchangeably. Oftentimes a student will say, I'm going to college, even though they may be attending an institution with university in its name. Typically, colleges are institutions that offer undergraduate-only programs, may offer some master's coursework. Universities tend to be bigger and more comprehensive in terms of the types of degrees they offer. Typically focus a lot on graduate coursework and some research.
Now, does higher education in the DRC focus on academic training or degree? Let's speak to be pragmatic. Is it focused on training or degree?
When you say, does Congolese education system focus on degree or on academic training?
I see what happens with students in terms of academic training as a goal or a degree. It means that it doesn't really learn, it doesn't understand, but the only aim is to have an academic degree. That's what I'm saying. Is it based, or the students are really focused on the degree or academic training?
The academic training learns by a degree. You cannot study and then afterward you have no degree. So to know that you were a student, you studied in a domain, you majored in something, so you should have a degree. But the degree is not the aim, because the degree is what the university gives to show that you were there, you attended classes, you learned something, and afterward you succeeded to exams and all these things, and you deserve that degree.
Okay.
But the problem is with students. It's not with the university. There are students who study only to get the degree, not to be trained. I studied with some students I know who were not even attending the classes. They were not attending classes. Other people were doing their works. Other people were doing the exams and so on. But by the end, they got the degree without having learned nothing.
Okay, that's to say, right, they deserve the degree, right? Yeah. It's good that the goal is to, after your training, academic training, have your degree, but you must deserve it, right? You got really the points. So can we say that our Congolese universities or colleges well equipped for academic training in terms of facilities?
No, and no.
Why?
And that is the backbone question, because our universities, if we can compare them in terms of history, I don't know if we should put them to antiquity or I don't know. Because
is that modernized? No, not modernized.
No, it's not modernized. We have universities where you continue to use the typewriting machine. There is no computer, no lab, no libraries, no modern libraries, no. So it is not equipped. Our universities are not well equipped, and that is even what is having an effect on both students and professors in terms of research and in terms of even education, because they are not getting what the world is putting in the disposal. They are not getting them because they don't have electronic libraries, we don't have computers, they don't have library well equipped with the updated books. They are not there. No university in DRC, even Université Mapon University, doesn't have all the equipment necessary for a modern, but I can say it's better than other universities, because there we have electronic, what you call checkboard and so on. So all these things, but other universities are really relating back to antiquity.
Ladies and gentlemen, please find out in this video the authorities' decision make just to shut some of the universities because they're not viable. Please watch and we'll be back.
More than 100 higher education institutes have been closed in the Democratic Republic of Congo, following a directive from the authorities last year to shut down 175 non-viable institutions. Many students have now been left stranded. With only 5 public universities in the Central African country, overcrowding has become the norm in these schools. Sometimes the classrooms get flooded and they are also overcrowded. We have nowhere to sit. We are forced to buy tables and chairs to sit on, yet we have no money. The government is looking to improve standards in its higher education. This will greatly reduce the country's unemployment rate, which is above 40%.
It's not the number of institutions around that worry us, but rather the quality of the education that is on offer in these institutions. That is why the current reforms are pushing for that. In December 2015, the Prime Minister issued a decree that we must execute when it comes to the viability of some of these institutions of higher learning, both for private and public institutions.
Authorities have often accused institutions of degenerating the country's educational system. With this in hand, the country plans to create a regulatory board to monitor colleges and universities.
Yes, we're moving on I'd like you to tell me in short the situations of professors, some challenges professors and students are facing in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
There are a lot of challenges, but the main challenge is pedagogical challenge. Because in terms of pedagogy, you should have methods, you should have objectives, you should have the curriculum. So there are some basic, I can say the basis for and good training that are missing in our country, both for professors and students. Because when you have an old curricula, an old program, which is not updated, when you have no clear objectives, when you have no equipment, because you should also speak of equipment. Nowadays, the computer becomes really the main instrument, the main equipment for intellectual work. But when you have no internet, the internet promised by President Fachi, by President Felix Antoine Tshisekedi, it's not working now. RAM took everything, and now the universities, all universities, no internet. So you have no internet. How are you going to manage for the research? How are you going to be competitive? How are you going to learn? Because university studies, it is not what the professor delivers in the classroom, in the auditorium. No, it is what you search as compared to the curriculum you have, the program of study you have, that make you being competitive in the world. So we have a lot of challenges, and another challenge is about the budget. What is the government putting in terms of budget for education in DRC?
That's really tough.
It is a mere part of education. So it is neglected. Okay. I saw lately, and it was very sad for me, I saw basketball players being given very nice Hyundai vehicles. I was very shocked. While professors, they are giving them pickup of, I don't know which, so, and they are not given to all professors. They are not giving good cars to professors. Students have no means of transportation. Professors themselves have no means of transportation. Students have no scholarship. Professors have no scholarship. So in our country, it is really a mess.
Okay, those are some challenges that need to be met, and there are many, so you cannot cover all of them. Please watch this video. Professor Dr. Patrick is going to just to explain some of the problems professors are facing in university in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Please watch.
Patrick is a friend of us. He is a professor of us. He is here in the lecturing with Frankfurt School. Republic of Congo, you can use US dollar, you can use the Congolese franc, and you can use euro. Someone can say.
What we see in Congo is that we have on one side a lot of people that are very poor, but also we see a lot of young people in need of having education. So what we try to do here is to have a kind of international education and excellence education in Africa and try to bring something new. So the cooperation between Frankfurt School of Finance and Management and the Protestant University of Congo started 10 years ago. The program we have in Congo at the Central Africa Europe Business School is about executive education. It's about management education. So we are very much focusing on giving management education to people in Central Africa, because what we are seeing on the ground is that we have now new companies coming on the ground, and the need to have very high qualified managers. And what we are doing is just responding to this need we have on the ground, and this is a very innovative way of making things happen in Africa.
Now, do Congolese universities open doors of job opportunities?
No, because when we have people, if you can ask those who are hired, like me, you are hired, you are working. What I know, the first job I got was from, I worked in the staff of the rector, or the chancellor of Université Protestante du Congo. I really appreciated the procedure, what they did, because it was a competitive recruitment. But it was not the government which gave me that job. It is a private university that needed someone, and then they tried to put into public, they recruited people. But the government, I can say, had that policy, because we can see what we have, Jeunes Professionnels, we have ENA. They started to recruit people and tend to give the job to the people. So you can finish, you can graduate from the university, and then the government put some framework to help you compete and get the job.
Sad to notice that. Please watch this interview of a student, Congolese student abroad, who has got a scholarship speaking about his condition, studies condition abroad. Please watch and be back.
My name is Eddie Charles Iragi Kagizi. I am a Congolese student. I come from the eastern DRC in a city called Bukavu. I am a student in Bachelor of Science in Telecommunication. I chose Strathmore because of the level of seriousness and the quality of education within the university. Studying in Strathmore has shaped me into what I can say a gentleman in a way, because I remember when I came to Strathmore for the first time, I looked nothing like what I look now. I was kind of looking for a path, and that's one of the things Strathmore has given me. It has helped me become a more organized and discover so much about myself. Adapting in Kenya was very hard. First of all, coming from a French country with totally different ways of life in terms of culture, I had to come back to myself and sit down and learn everything from scratch. Living in Kenya as a Congolese, it's very interesting. You know, most Congolese that are here are regarded as musicians, conmen and refugees. As I came to Strathmore fresh from high school, I had to shape a path that was different from what is used to. But I decided to study, finish, go back home and help my people. Currently, I work as a consultant at the Strathmore Energy Research Center. I'm a renewable energy consultant, and I manage the Strathmore solar system. It's a very nice experience to be able to do something that of such a magnitude in the university that has brought me up. Everything that I have, I owe it to Strathmore, and working here has helped me, in a way, give back to the university.
Yes, we are almost at the end of our talk show. It was very ideas are very well developed. So the last question, very last question. What does the future hold for the higher education in the DRC?
We have challenges. We have challenges in the DRC high school education system. And we should see the system become very bright. Very bright. We need a bright system of our education, modernized system, and well-equipped universities. We need to see scholarships being again given to students, to professors, to researchers. We need people to be given facilities like means of transportation, to have visas, to have all these things that can allow students and professors to develop and to be well competitive.
Mr. Mafutala, it was my pleasure to have you here on this platform.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tombi. Ladies
and gentlemen, all is well and well. We are at the end of our talk show today. It was a pleasure to welcome Mafutala. He had a lot of things to say, but time was really short. I think that in upcoming days, it will be back on this platform to break down this kind of topic related to education in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned on the Second National Channel. Bye. Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Electricity, computer science, innovation, yeah.
And we know that it's a brainstorm.
You yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one.